Okay, so now we will have some of the points that are being shown in uh, today's lecture, that was about the family, type of family. So now we will know about more about the Khasi uh, family type, and we are going to start it with a video which will help you to understand. It's a small documentary which will help you to understand how this Khasi tribe in India is working and performing matriarchal family rules and regulations.
You see, I have a daughter, and she's a girl, and I will educate her till, I will educate her whatever she wants, I'll give, but not bad things.
Not bad things, but good things, and that means land and a house. Kazi men work on their wives' land. At the moment, they're harvesting laurel. This landowner has a son, and also, much to her satisfaction, two daughters.
In Kazi society, overall responsibility lies with mothers. The mother is the head of the family. When she dies, her daughter inherits her property. That's how it's been for generations.
The Kazi practice matrilineal descent. The youngest daughter of the family, the Kakadu, inherits all ancestral property. Sons live with their mothers until they get married. Then they move in with their wife's family. Every time a daughter marries, the family extends the property to accommodate her new family.
Our children have their mother's name, not their father's name. Your task as a man is to fulfill your family's needs. The women are in charge of the home and the property. They make sure everything runs smoothly.
In the state of Meghalaya, the Kazi, who number roughly 1 million, are officially recognized as an ethnic minority. They enjoy certain privileges, with Kazi laws protected by an autonomous district government. They also pay lower taxes and benefit from India's employment reservation policy for government and public sector jobs. Indian culture tends to favor boys over girls, but in Kazi culture, a family with no girls is considered unfortunate. Men are financially dependent on their wives. There are barely any registered cases of domestic violence. In the afternoons, the women like to meet up for tea and gossip in Morlongbna. From farmers to businesswomen, everyone here chats together comfortably. Kong Abi is the owner of the tea house.
I sell tea and light snacks. I provide for my own children and my whole clan. I don't earn a lot, but it's enough for my family.
Kong Abi is determined to protect Kazi tradition from outside influences.
As a woman, I'm very proud of our tradition. Men move in with their wives. They look after us, and they also help us look after the children. It's good to be a woman here.
But life isn't always easy for the Kakadu. From an early age, youngest daughters have to take care of their families. They look after the younger children in the extended family, cook, clean, and wash clothes. They're also expected to take care of their parents and grandparents until they die. Indian society is largely male-dominated, and Qazi men are often the butt of jokes. They themselves have no problem with women ruling the roost.
My wife should respect me a lot, and I also respect her a lot. But we both each other we respect for keeping our children, for developing their future from the girl side or boy side. But love is more important. I love her, she loves me, and for supporting for children, that is.
Biba Lisha is renovating her mother's market stall. She's just 18 and still goes to school, but she's already the head of her family. Still, she's optimistic about the future.
It's not important at all because after we work, after we get a job, at least we can make money, and then we can, for our parents, we can we can keep a maid at home, maybe to take care of them, and for us, after I studied, maybe I can go abroad and go for traveling. Yeah, it's not important at all.
But if she's to uphold tradition as well, she'll have her work cut out for her. However, one tradition remains unchallenged. Meghalaya's villages are considered the cleanest in the whole of Asia. The women are constantly cleaning and tidying. And broomsticks from Morlongna are popular tourist souvenirs. Broomgrass grows here everywhere. It's hand-picked by the women and bound to make the brooms. One feature of Qazi culture, at least, that has been exported all over South Asia.
Program that were going to develop the farmers or the rural society of India. So, what were the objectives of this fundamental program? So, they came up with the two main major effort that pro that dragged them to go for this development program in pre-independent era. Was the first one was they were attempt by some kind and generous people person and private agencies to improve rural life. So as I have already told, like that time, the period of colonial time, the British rule was there, so people were so much lagged behind with the uh, equipments, with the technologies that were introduced in other countries, not in India. So some of the people, they were so kind, they understood like if we don't develop these people, our rural lives, we will be not able to develop the further generation, and that will be a very much a drawback for the people to being in the rural um, being in the mercy hand of the ruler British rule, and then they were going to be more imposed for many works that was not according to their will. They were like um, what we say, they were pressurized to do some type of cropping, and also uh, some factors that provoke some of the people who understood like we need to develop the rural area, then only we will have some power to come up with the new things, and then we will fight back with the rulers. Okay, there were some people who were already educated, who were from the higher societies, means educated. The parents were having a good wealth and all. So they came up with the help of some private organizations or agencies, and they tried to improve the life of the rural area. Then second point is attempts were made by the government level to initiate some projects to solve the process pressing problems in the agriculture. So not only just the some people on their own level, level, but there were some other government level programs were also held to improve the biggest sector of India, that is agriculture. So when these efforts were conducted, there exists certain conditions. So as I have already told, like we were in the British rule, so there were conditions that were imposed to them. So the now we will discuss about some of the factors that affected some of the condition that was there to, which was not supporting for these efforts that these two people have made, the kind people and the government level people. So, like first one was agriculture was the primary occupation to the last percentage of people. That is very true because 90 at that time almost everyone was under agriculture. So people were trying to come up with some of the factors to improve agriculture. Okay. Then second was extremely low purchasing power. So people were not having any power to fight back because they were under the British rule, so they were bound to do all the works that was given by the rulers. Like the indigo farming is one of the example. Like they were imposed to do indigo farming. Then there was one farming known as afim ki kheti. I don't know what is the word in English, I forgot. So that particular thing was imposed by the rulers to grow by the farmers, and people were not able to grow other crops. Like what are the commercial crops, what are the basic crops, staple crops that were grown for their livelihood. So they don't have any power to fight back for their things, and if they have also, like people were hanged, people were killed. Then third point was lack of application of science and technology. As we were bound to be ruled by the people, so we didn't know about any of the science and technology because most of the people were uneducated, illiterate. Even if somebody is literate also, they they have low purchasing power. That's why they were not able to initiate any science and technology thing to the farmers. Then lack of understanding about the natural resource. So this is the biggest point. Like now also we say like my state is full of this thing, bad thing, good thing, but most of the time we ignore the major thing is what are the natural resource that is present, what are the flora and fauna that is present around us. We don't know what is the importance of the neem tree, we don't know what is the importance of the people tree, we don't know what is the importance of the tulsi tree and all. So we, that time what happened, like people were just growing it because it was grown naturally, so they didn't understand the main factor what was affecting to them, whether these natural resources were very nice to them, were they going to have some impact on them. They didn't know all this thing. Then lack of socio-economic organization. So even there, after the implementation of the efforts that were made by the kind people, the learned people, and the government, still there was so many organizations that were there, but they were not economically benefiting to the farmers. It was just helping them to grow something. So these factors, these were the certain conditions that came up with. Then there comes the demerit. Like they started to initiate, but there were some demerits, merits and demerits that was there. So what happened, like these programs, the programs we are going to discuss further, these programs were conducted at different point of time. Uh, um, like in the spring season, like in the winter season, like summer season or rainy season. So the point of time these programs were conducted give different result. Though like Kolkata, if we talk about the Kolkata, it was under rainy season. They took some projects under rainy season. So maybe like they thought like growing crops in the rainy season is very good, but What about the Rajasthan people? Like that time, the desert area people where there is no water or lack of water, how can they produce the same products, same crops in that time in the rainy season? The amount of the rain is different. Then different reasons were there. So region means north and south, east and west, Himalayans and plateaus. All these things near beach means the water resources and all. So reasons were different. First of all, the time was different. Second was the reason were different. Then socio political, socio-economic condition were different. So this is a very great point in this. Political, socio-economic. This means like political means those who are away from the fact that it is going to be benefited to the farmers. Many of the political societies that was emerging, like all the um, Krantikaris were there, all the people who were revolting that time, Martyrs, some groups were there who came up to support that thing. In some program they supported, in some program they didn't support it because that was not benefiting to them. Then in different society, sometimes they took the tribal people, sometimes the development was on the people who only grow staple crops. Sometimes the project was development programs were on the people who used to just grow vegetables or spices or indigo. Okay, so it was different socio thing. Then economic means they didn't have that much of income to grow that type of. So some people who took like only the people who used to grow only vegetables, some only for fruits, some only for uh, a particular crop like wheat or rice. Okay, so these three factor also contributed to the program. That was a merit, means like it is a good thing, but still it is a bad also, because maybe the in some area maybe the politics is not good. They are not going to support. Sometimes the society is not good. They were not adopting the programs, the aims, the objective of the program. And economy, some area where the people were so poor they were not even initiating or they were not even encouraging themselves to to participate in this type of program. And even they varies in area, like I was told, like whatever is going to work in a rainy area or the area which is rich in water resources, the same products, the same process is not going to be implemented in desert areas. Then population coverage. If you talk about desert areas or Himalayan regions or the yeah, these two reasons, the people are residing very less. So doing project on this type of people were easy than to do project with a huge number of people who are residing in UP and Bihar. Okay, so there was a variation in the development program, variation in the aim, variation in the outcomes of the program, and then financial and other resources. Obviously, yes, I have discussed like different political, socio-economic conditions were there that were affecting them, and then like there was not a common outcome that was coming out of all these programs. Okay, so the first program that we are going to study is about Sri Niketan project, and you will understand like the last point here is therefore common evaluation was not possible. How, why, and what were the reason? Like that was affecting for not a common evaluation. Like the first project, there were some shortcomings of the project also, like most of the effort was based on individual initiative, means like it was not a group approach. So most of the people were individually encouraged, but as we have already discussed, like they were having a low purchasing power or low bargaining power, so they were giving up after some time. Like they these individuals, they gave up, like we don't want to fight with the ruler people. Whatever we are getting, at least we are getting something. Then government backing and financing was not forthcoming. Means even the government, after working for some while, they they took back their steps. Like we think, like okay, we will supply you financial support and all that thing, but slowly and steadily they also like stop giving all these facilities to the projects. All attempts were isolated, uneven, and discontinued. So, all the things were isolated, means only one person is taking whole uh, effort to develop that thing, to maintain the aim, arrange the financial support, making training the people, then giving the demonstration. So one person was solely took the initiative to do all that. So it was isolated, means like it wasn't it was not involving any other state, so that they can have a proper comparison, and they can go on evaluating reconsideration, and then again set the situation, analyzing the situation and problem, and then implementing the project. So these were not going on. One person is doing everything, and if he give up, then the program is stopped. Okay, staffs were mostly inexperienced and untrained. So, like I have already told, like whatever the knowledge, if as a person, as a uh, project person, if I am the only one who is responsible, solely responsible for the project, whatever the knowledge I will have about the particular thing, I will give only that much. I won't give more than that, because that will because I have that much. I am not interacting with other. I'm not going to take some other person's help, because we don't have that much of communication at that time. So maybe the that whatever knowledge I have, it's like 20% knowledge I have. I will only give my staff that 20% knowledge. So that 20% knowledge was not enough to train the people of the rural life, not enough for the agriculture program to be carried out, and all. Untrained, the same thing. Experience was less, so people were not trained well, and because of not training well, they were not able to communicate well, and that was the main drawback, that shortcoming that came out. Then planning and program was ill-defined and unbalanced. So, like if mm, like I have already told in the third point, like if I am solely one person, whatever the planning I did, I implemented that. I didn't went back. I didn't have time to go back and review all this thing. So I means like what type of program I have to go see, that was also not happening. Like if I have to talk about irrigation, I found out that the main reason is pest attack. So the program I suddenly switched my program from irrigation to pest attack, and then I started to do that thing. So this was not defined, means what I am going to do was not, the matter was not accurate. So that made the program like zigzag way, and that made the program to stop at some point of the time. uh, then sixth one is need for proper methods and skills for approach was not realized. So like I just went and started to talk about it, but what for the demonstration, or for the result demonstration, or for the other type of do by work demonstration, experience demonstration, there were no such equipments were provided to the person to demonstrate in a such a way that people will understand that thing. Then even the skills approach of the other people were not encouraged, like the person who is having leadership skills or who have communication skills, they were not encouraged, because it was very hectic to understand, or on an individual basis, what who which person is more accurate in this particular thing, and then start making group. And also these were some of the shortcoming of this. Then no evaluation was carried out, like I have already told. Like like if a solely person is taking the responsibility for project, then when he will get time or she will get time to review the things, like whether it was good, bad, or whether it was nice, or what was the shortcomings, what were the upcomings. They were not able to understand that thing. Then association and coordinations, other development departments were very limited. I've already told like government were backing off their funds and their support. So many of the association also start um, coming back. And at that time we were in the ruler time, so we were not independent. So it was very difficult to come up with some associations or come up with some of the department which were helping, like a social work NGOs and all were very difficult to establish. So it was very limited. So that was also a very biggest outcome of this thing. Then improvement of the people in planning and executing was very limited. So even after the people were knowing that there are lacks and we need to improve on that particular point, but people were not having that much time to go for another project that will that is going to uplift that type of problem from that village or from that village rural life. So these nine shortcomings were a biggest drawbacks which came into, and most of the projects, development projects, were stopped in pre-independent era. So the first, now we will move on to some of the projects that were successful and how they work, which area they work, what was the main aims of that, and what were the drawbacks, why they stopped, and what was the reason behind it. So the first project is about Shri Niketan project that was started in 1914. It was founded by Sri Ravindranath Tagore, and the idea was to educate the rural setting because he is known for, as we all know, that Sri Ravindranath Tagore is very much known for his intellectual talent. Today, also, people follow his write ups, his readings. He has written very books, very good books that people still follows. Some of the concept morals that still people go on. So he developed this project to just to educate people, because I have already told, like, because of the illiteracy, many people, they didn't have the purchasing power. They were lagged behind with all the facilities that was given by the government to the society. Okay, it consists of youth of 8 villages. See, now you will be understanding like what were the limitation that we have already studied in this slide, merits and demerits. Now you will understand how the demerits came. Like in this, it was only initiated of the youths of only 8 villages. What about there? It's not like there were no other villages. But why only 8 villages? What was the reason? It is not given here. And they came up, maybe it was an initiation, so to understand like whether it will be successful in 8 village. Okay, so the main aim was to maintain the demonstration farm, means like whatever the agriculture processing that we are having, it should be there. Then a dairy and poultry unit should be there, because that was the basic. After farming, these things were the basic. Then they came up with the outdoor clinic. So when you are educated with some of the basic things, and as we know that India is a very good area for Ayurvedic and traditional medicines and all. So it he felt that there should be outdoor cleaning so that the people can be healthy. If a healthy soul and mind encourages the society or encourages the people for better doing, then department of cottage industries were there. Like most of at that time, most of the women were under parda system. They were not allowed to go out. So he initiated the women, maybe from the youth, maybe consisting of the young women, who were young ladies, young girls, who were trying to study something and educate the people. And then they were also educated to encourage the women in living in that village to start some industry, cottage industry, like weaving the baskets, making the brooms, making hats and all, making some mats and all. Then weaving was there, then some crafting was there. Then making slippers, doing something with the leather thing, doing something with the waste product that was out of the agriculture. So these things were there. Then these agencies were to treat the village as their laboratory. So he has not just uh, made selected this village on the purpose just to educate them, but he used that village as a laboratory to identify the problem and test their ideas. So whatever his ideas were about the poultry, about the demonstration of the farm and all. So these he did all this idea into this 8 village and saw the result of this 8 villages, what it was the outcome, what was actually the problem was. The village were accepted to approach this agencies through the village workers. So he also appointed some of the village workers like youth. He selected some youth from 8 villages, and he tried to tell that people, try to train that people to go and start with the work that they were having. Then these village workers were also known as social workers living in the village. So these people were from the villages and they were named as social workers. Still, we have some Anganwadi girls. Anganwadi, we have already, we know today the same work they used to do before also, but they were known as the social workers. Now it is formulated and made into Anganwadi, which consists of many things. Okay, at there was he also established some centers in this 8 village, which used to focus on agriculture, poultry, and dairy activities. Then schemes, land development and plantation were given due importance. So he also initiated some of the schemes that were already present by the government and how to avail that schemes for the development of the other. Then um, artists were also, like, if somebody is good at painting, somebody is good at weaving, so he also or she also used to train girls or boys to do more, so that they train them to get their own industry or get their own setups and become entrepreneur and earn money. Then village scout movement was there, village development council was there, health cooperative, circulating libraries, and village fairs were the main aim of them. Village scout movement was like some of the people, uh, they came up voluntary and they started working with them, and from these 8 villages, and people were trying to come up with some of the factors. Then the village development council was there. They developed some council, like what was this the lag behind and how to initiate that lacking, and then they go to the next level. Then health, um, as he used to work for the outdoor clinic, so one of his aim was outdoor clinic, so he made a council of health, so that what are the other necessity things that are required in health. Then cooperative, then circulating libraries were there, like first aim was to educate people, so circulating libraries were there so that the people can read and write at least their name, they can understand the uh, need of education for themselves. Then village fairs were there, that was to encourage economically and socially people to interact with each other and to know each other well. Then, as we have already studied so many drawbacks, so this project also was having some drawbacks. So the first drawback was, the major two drawbacks were, the government was not supporting this project. There would be a very enormous reason why the government was not supporting, because at that time Rabindranath Tagore, he was the maybe he was the wealthy man, so he has done all the financial support by himself, and he didn't have any other process for that. He didn't took any help from the government. So when he tried to get help also, maybe the government didn't support that thing. Then it could not be research work, and hence the program retained. So research work means whatever the outcomes were there, it was not carried out very nicely. So this project was limited only for the 8 villages. The second was Economic Mysore Conference of Mysore. It was established in Karnataka. Presently, it is known as Karnataka in 1948 to 1918. So, just in the merit and demerit slide, we studied like it. There was a different period of time. So, see, and different reason. So, this is the second reason. In the same year, the Ravindranath Tagore also started, but that similar project was carried out in Mysore also. The main objective was achieving all-rounder progress, then economic development, giving priority to the agriculture. Even the district and taluka committee was uh, made. Revenue officers were the official responsible with the chairman. So these revenue officers were there who were made chairman to see the development in these three objects. And even under that particular development department, there was non-official people were also members, and they surveyed some needs and responsibility, listed them, fixed the priorities, and then suggestions were made, and then program was carried out. Then came Martyrdom project in 1921. It was under YMCA, and it was initiated in Kerala by Dr. Spencer Hatch, American agricultural expert, and especially in sociology. So the fundamental aim was he wanted to develop a program with fivefold developments. One is physical, second one is spiritual, third one is mental, fourth one is economical and social. So physical in the sense like if we are physically fit, like health, then maybe we will be able to work happily. Spiritually, understanding the main source of power that they used to get from the Almighty, and how we can initiate this spirituality into the development program. Mental is like to keep the people healthy, happy, so that they can mentally be fit to adopt many things and to work with the people. Economically, doing some projects or some activity which are economically benefit, and this all four factor will affect the social development. Okay, so Dr. Hatch implemented an all-round development in agriculture, public health, and education. So same thing was done with the um, Rabindranath objective also, and the same thing was with the Mysore conference also. Then in this the centers were done, and prize bulls and goat. Prize bulls here means like the bulls were reared just to uh, sell in the market and get a good price for economical benefit. Then bee hives were made as a model, and that was affecting. Then demonstration plots were there to grow grains and vegetable seeds. Poultry was there to lay eggs, and weaving sheds were there. So all these things were the major factors that was physically, spiritually, mentally, economically, and socially developing the people. Then improving the literacy so that the people can understand the importance of all these center all these models and centers, so that they can go further. Then weekly market was there to understand like how to maintain the for livestock or where to sell their products. So the center also promote the cooperatives. So the people who are with the money and all, they also came to them to just to have a interaction with the farmers so that they can have a good income generation thing. Then improved breed of egg laying, good beeves were there so that they can get good yield from both of them. Then marketing products through cooperation organization was done. In 1939, the egg selling cooperative society was becoming a self-governing body, and another society was there. Honey Club was formed. So then Bull Club was there, Weavers Clubs were there. So these all things were there to just to uplift the society into the five folds. And then Sarvodaya movement was done. It was initiated by Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi, and the concept was to um encourage the people uh, in the features of simplicity, non-violence, and reconstructing the human values. Like doing all these things, people were so cunning, and maybe because of the pressure that the ruler people were imposing in them made them inhuman or something, or maybe they also weren't revolting and all. So he came up with some of this concept of non-violence and came up with the human values concept so that the people can understand the standard of living, the the scientific development of agriculture, then promotion of cottage industry was there to promote them economically. Literacy, like every project till so far we have studied, always we concentrated on literacy. Then medical health and facility and development of the village panchayat. This was the very good factor that this movement made. Then village panchayat, development of the village panchayat, because no, in this all things there were no caretaker of the village, so village panchayat were given as a caretaker. Then Gurgama project was initiated in 1920 by a foreign Englishman that came, and it was appointed. He was appointed as a deputy commissioner. He saw that people were extremely poor in his area, dirty and unhealthy. So he tried. He investigated all this thing for 7 years, and then he came up with a scheme that is known as Gurgawa scheme. And the main objective was to jerk the village out of their old groove and convince them to improve in the possible. So whatever the possible areas where they could be improved, he started to work upon this. Then economically unhealthy custom and taught better ways. Also, he took away all this thing like how they eat, how they sleep, how the healthy is there. So he took all the unhealthy custom of the society and he put new better living life for farming and living. Then on the project, the activity which was introduced by him was he introduced a school of rural economy to train the village guide in 1925. Then domestic school of economy to train group of women and under women and women children welfare work in 1929. So he also introduced some area for women, which was silently done as a cottage industry by the other projects. Then a health association was made, and then women institute was done to initiate ladies garden. Ladies garden is like a kitchen garden which give involve women being engaged in production. And village guide were the people who were there to guide them. So in that also he was the demerit was he was not able to initiate so many people to work with him. Then the last one is Indian village service that was introduced just before the independence by author T Morris of New York and BN Gupta from India. They both work on the objective of this thing is to assist village people to realize the best in their own village uh, by developing individuals. So whatever, like if I am good for developing development or leadership. So I need to have something, knowing that thing, if cropping can be done very nicely, if there are so many techniques that can be involved. So if I'm a very much a technological person, then they were given the ability, or they were encouraging us to go and develop ourselves. Then effective help themselves to, means it was not directly one person is giving everything to the other person. It is like taking the good from the individual and making it the main power. So it was mainly to assist the government in the village, like Gram Panchayat was introduced by Gandhi Sarvodaya movement. So it was helping the people to uh, government to work with the people to understand them. For the realization of these objects, the organization adopts some technique of personal contact, informal group discussion, use of volunteer demonstration, use and product of visual aids, exhibition, tours, drama, books, periodical, etc. So these were the all the on ground techniques that was taken followed to encourage people for the betterment. It was financially supported by the contribution and donation. So here also no government activity was followed out. So in the these are the MCQs related to this project, this topic. Next, we will study about the post-independent era, how, why these projects ended, and what were the new projects that were introduced with what objectives, and what were their shortcomings. Like we have already understood what was the pre-independent shortcomings. Now we will understand in the next lecture what were the outcome of the other shortcomings. Thank you for listening.